will now have the ministerial statement in the name of Honorable Pandor, the Minister of Higher Education and Training, on the developments of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and let me thank Speaker for allowing me to make this statement. Honourable members would be aware that there's been growing public concern at the inability of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme to efficiently administer the processing of applications and disbursements. This concern didn't begin this year. They have existed for several years. Public higher education institutions and students are right to be concerned given the important role that the scheme plays in ensuring the transformation of the human resource profile of South Africa. Since its inception, the scheme has ensured that funds are made available to thousands of young people from poor and working class backgrounds to support their access to and success in higher education. Efficient administration and disbursement of the funds are essential to ensuring that young people benefit from this critical support for the skills development of our country. Honourable members are aware that we've had serious concerns about the scheme for several years. In 2013, the new student-centered model was introduced for applications and disbursements. It created a direct link between students and the scheme and yet bypassed institutions. The model was piloted for 2 years in 5 universities and 14 colleges, and then suddenly expanded to all institutions in 2017. At the beginning of 2017, there was a significant breakdown of NSFAS computer systems and processes, and we had to relook at what needed to be done. Various processes of the scheme had to be undertaken manually in 2017, and the absence of data and systems integration worsened the problems. Due to these difficulties, many 2017 processes were incomplete by the end of 2017, and many applications were not finalized, and thus thousands of students did not receive funds in that academic year. The year 2018 began with this backlog intact. The scheme was confronted with inadequate system processes, and staff had to administer the new full bursary program, which introduced fee higher education for poor and working class first-year students in addition to the backlog. We began to work closely with NSFAS from early January in an effort to address the changes and to deal with the backlog of 2017. The board also provided extensive hands-on support to the scheme to help address continued inadequacy. In March, I was alerted to the backlogs and the fact that many institutions had dipped into their own funds to give students minimum allowances and thus were owed by the scheme. And thousands of applications had still not been processed. It became clear that the problems were extremely severe. Following various board attempts to intervene and assist, and even support from our department, we agreed with the board that extraordinary measures were warranted. I appointed a team made up of DHET and institutional staff for a 6-week period to support the processing of applications and ensure disbursement. The team worked with the board and made some progress in resolving some of the backlog. However, it became clear that this was not enough of an intervention. In July, I directed the board to take additional measures to address the 2017 backlog and to finalize 2018 applications. I was not satisfied at the responses I received from the board, and after the board chair informed me of his immediate resignation, I decided to seriously consider the appointment of an administrator. I called an emergency board meeting which affirmed my intention. The board asked me then to appoint an administrator, as had already been asked by unions represented in NSFAS, as well as by student organizations at TVET colleges and in universities. In late August, I appointed Dr. Randall Carolison as administrator for 12 months. I've directed that he should urgently ensure eligible students receive funding for 2017 and this year, and that he should develop a viable plan for processing applications for 2019, plus ensure stability and efficiency at the scheme. We have secured staff secondments from universities and TVET colleges to support him. He will add to this support team as the work progresses. There's been positive progress in the first 2 weeks of administration. Links have been re-established with all institutions, and institution heads and student leaders have played a critical role in communicating with students. And I want to thank all student organizations at our TVET colleges and universities for the leadership role they've played. Over 50 NSFAS staff have been deployed to be on site at institutions to ensure resolution of outstanding issues. I was shocked to learn that they identified 50,000 students who fit the NSFAS criteria, but were not on the system as applicants or beneficiaries. Thus far, 17 billion rand has been disbursed, and 275,000 new students and 243,000 returning students have had their funding confirmed. I'm really happy that we've recorded significant growth in TVET college-funded students. However, the change that has emanated from the administration has also pointed to the critical need for more support to be provided to TVET colleges to develop systems and capacity for student financial aid administration. I wish to assure honorable members that the matter of the executive officer at the scheme is one that will be addressed by the administrator and not by the minister or the department. The immediate work of the scheme is to continue closeout of the 2017 and 2018 funding cycles and to open 2019 applications, and we have done so successfully. We will then focus on systems and processes that will create an effective model for the future. We've announced that from 3rd September, new applicants should apply to the scheme for funding. And 30th November, honorable members, will be the closing date for applications, because we want to begin the 2019 academic year with students knowing whether they will be funded or not. We've also requested universities and colleges to ensure students apply and to support NSFAS in the turnaround. I seek the help of all parties in the House in getting the around 34,000 TVET college students who've not signed their statement of particulars to do so, because they are not going to receive funding if they do not sign those forms. Once the immediate challenges have been fully addressed, the administrator will focus on identifying the root causes of problems at the scheme and developing solutions and a roadmap to address them. We anticipate a significant business redesign which should be put in place during the 29 academic year period. The steps taken by the administrator thus far have signaled that it will be possible to achieve significant improvements in his 12-month term of office. And I hope honorable members will support both the scheme and the administrator and department in executing this important work. I am pleased that students in our universities have begun to benefit from the 2.2 billion rand that has been disbursed in the first 8 days of administration. Colleges that now have confirmation of confirmed applicants are able to disburse the upfront funds that we had made available to them. And so students now have resources in their hands, and we will continue to ensure that the funding that our young people should have gets to them and supports them to succeed academically. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Minister. Order. I'm sure honorable members have noted the closing day for NSFAS. So when you go back to your constituencies, please remember for the academic year 2019, it's opened already, closing date 30 November 2018. Honorable Pozoli.